Hey, BassGeek here, and I'm going to give you my opinion on these Swimbait heads, but we're going to let the underwater footage be the final judge. That's right, BassGeek Nation. This is part 2 of the Swimbait Test Tank Challenge. Now, what we did in the first video, if you haven't seen it, you're going to want to go back. We kind of set a baseline for our swim baits, and what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be adding some of the most popular, some of the ones that you guys recommended, some jig heads, open exposed hooks to these same 5 swim baits. We're going to be testing each one individually. Now from there, we're going to be seeing if each head helps, hinders, or changes the action of the swim bait, that baseline action that we found. Now, I haven't seen the footage yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually talk to you about some of my opinions and first reactions to some of these swim baits. So the first two, I kind of want to talk to you about these together. Now, every single one of these are a 1/2 ounce 5/0 hook, okay? Now the ledge head I use, it's actually a 6/0 hook. These two, this is the Matt Allen Dirty Jigs, Matt Allen Tactical Bass and Swimbait head, and this is the Goat by Gambler. Now both of these heads, to be perfectly honest, I mean, they look almost like they're out of the same mold. They are very, very much alike. Now, my first reactions, I'm going to start out with the Dirty Jigs Matt Allen head. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not a big fan of the keeper. If you put something on here, and I know I've seen their videos where they talk about adding this to like bass tricks and stuff like that. I know it's got the little wire keeper, the little hook on it, but I'll just be the first to tell you, you're going to go through some swim baits if you're throwing this swim bait head. You're going to have to glue them on. It's probably not going to hold even then very well after 2 or 3 fish. You know, it's a pretty common design. Kind of the same thing with this, but at least with the Goat head, in my opinion, they seem to move the weight down a little bit to the bottom of the bait, and that's a big deal. But they did put a screw lock keeper on. Now, it's not a very big screw lock keeper, so that means it's really not going to get a hold of a lot of meat in those hollow bodies like your bass tricks, your Zoom Swimmers, or your Shadowlicious style baits. Other than that, I mean, those two kind of look like they come out of the same mold. Now the next one, I'm actually a little excited about because there's a slight change in the way the head is designed. Now overall, it's very much like the Goat, but the hook eye comes out at almost a 90-degree angle. Now that puts all the weight under the line, so I really wonder if that's going to give that head a little more rocking action when we see it under the water. Other than that, I mean, it's got a nice paint job, good looking hook. It does have a screw lock keeper, and again, it's on the small side, and I'll explain to you why when I get to the ledge head, why the larger screw lock, especially for your hollow bodies, is important. All right guys, this is my go-to head. This is the head that I judge every head by that I throw on a swim bait, and I'm going to explain to you why. Number one, as you can see, all the weight is actually on the bottom of the head. Now what that does is as you get a tail wiggle, you get a big head wobble. And what you'll notice is with the weight forward head design, what you end up getting is that it nullifies, it actually kills the head wobble with that standard jig head with all the weight at the front of the head. This will actually create more head wobble because the weight is moved to the bottom. Now, the very next thing you'll notice is there's a huge screw lock. Well, the reason there's a big screw lock is because when you're putting that screw through that Bastrix, that Zoom Swimmer, that Shadowlicious, whatever, that style of a swim bait, the entire body is hollow, you've got a very fine layer right at the nose, just a very thin layer of plastic. So what this actually does is grabs the entire nose all the way around, it screws in all the way around, so that it's grabbing the sidewall all the way in to that swim bait. Now, a lot of people think that little arm is actually a keeper. It helps keep the bait on there. No, trust me, that screw lock actually keeps the bait on there. Now, after that, what that is, and I call it a run right arm, because everybody that throws swim baits, they know that you are tearing the swim bait by the hook. And once you start to tear that swim bait, it starts to create drag and lean to one side or the other. Well, what this arm does is it pokes a hole through the belly and claps on around the shank of the hook on the bottom, and it keeps that swim bait running true no matter how much of a tear there is in the top around the hook. But let's not let me persuade you. That's my opinion. Let's see if it holds up once we put it in the test tank and see which one looks the best, and we'll let you guys be the judge. All right, guys, so what did you think? Let me know in the comments section below. You know, like we say, the proof is in the test tank pudding, right? So we've seen them, we've watched them work. Now we can tell maybe where they work, where they don't, which ones work better with maybe even which particular baits. That was kind of interesting to see some work better with some baits and some work better with other baits. So that was really interesting. Guys, you know I'm going to lean toward my ledge head. I'm a little biased there. So tell me what you think in the description below. So as always, questions and comments in the comment section below. I hope you guys like these series. We're going to do a lot more of them. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you guys ring that bell when you get the notifications, so when these videos come out, you can keep an eye on them and hopefully learn a thing or two. And as always, you guys rock.